What's up, everybody? Right now I'm going to be doing a review of my Mongoose Mode 900. This bike, a lot of people kind of are curious about this bike because it's really cheap, like $200, and they claim it's full chrome. Like basically, you're getting like a $400, $500 package for $200 on a Walmart bike, and a lot of people are really curious about this bike. I bought this sometime last year while I was building up my main bike. I just bought it. It was, I wasn't going to be riding that much, so figured it was the best way to get a complete bike that would hold up, and I want to go over how well it performed. So, as you can see, this is nothing like the Mongoose Mode 900 that you buy online. I've changed literally everything except for the front wheel is different now. Not necessarily because parts went bad. Actually, what we ended up doing after I had my other bike done, we pretty much used this bike, the 900, as a part out bike. I had a friend that needed a fork because his was bent, so I let him have the fork. The bars, I think we ended up chunking those because they were crap, which I'll get into later. The pedals I gave to somebody. The cranks I used on my brother's bike. Uh, the original back rim I laced to my remix before I got a new rim. The new rims for my bike. So the parts just ended up going all over the place. The frame I gave to somebody, and I ended up getting it back recently, and I built it up with leftover parts, and that's what you see in front of you is this is all a leftover parts build. I want to go over the good and the bad of the bike. So I'll go over the things that were bad first, just to make that easier, because there wasn't that much. So first thing that I really didn't like on the bike, my knee hurts, was the chain. It came with one of those KMC half-link chains. Um, it's it's a really crap chain, I'm gonna be honest. The only half-link chains out there that are actually good are the Shadow ones. Every other half-link chain's a complete turd. Um, it stretched like 2 weeks into it, and it was just felt horrible. It was just a crap chain. So I ended up, like, 2 weeks after I got it, I put a KMC, just a full link chain. There's June bugs everywhere. Ugh. I made this video during the day earlier, and did notice there's a giant smudge on the GoPro lens. So now I'm in the porch with the lights on, and the June bugs are going nuts. Look at him flying around. Look, look, look. There he is. Okay. Um, so yeah, chain was a downfall. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm hard on chains. I don't know. I've never actually, well, I have broken a chain, but um, I've never broken a good chain, at least. So chain was a definite downfall to it. The tires that came on it, the tires were complete crap. They were 2.25 inches wide, which is good. That's actually a pretty impressive size for a Walmart bike. But their max pressure was 40 psi, and they were just horrible. They went bald really fast. In fact, the front one went bald before the back one, because I was riding brakeless on and took the brakes off as soon as I got it, pretty much. Um, and just doing fakies and stuff made the front tire go completely bald. And like if you were to do a fakie or anything where you skid the back tire or something, you would see the stuff like the rubber like powder off of it. Um, so yeah, the tires were junk. Like I said, low pressure. They were just horrible, cheap tires. Um, and then the seat, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Some people complain about it. I didn't really mind. But the seat originally was like a one-piece combo seat that you can't adjust or anything. Um, Basically, it's made just to be slammed all the way down and keep it out of the way, which it did that very well. It did what it was meant to do, but a lot of people don't like the fact that they stuck a one-piece seat on it. Um, the bottom bracket really sucked. I actually cracked one of the cups. I didn't know about it until I ended up taking the cranks out to put a sealed bottom bracket in it. But I cracked one of the cups, which is pretty bad. If those things explode, you're going to have a bad day. Um, so that was one downfall. Just the fact that this bike has an American unsealed bottom bracket to begin with just kind of sucks. But what can you do? Um, and then, oh, the stem. The stem was a big pile of shit. If anybody's ever had a Hyperbike company stem, it was basically that stem, with the double bolt mechanism on the back rather than the wedge that the Hypers have. Complete garbage. The entire inside of it, there's like a giant gaping hole on it, and the stem plate's really thin and cheap. So that when you tighten it, the bars, there's not enough material on the stem to hold the bars. You're gonna pinch your bars or like smash them because the how thin the back of that stem is, it just crushes them. Uh, the stem plate flexes if you actually get it anywhere tight, and I could never get the bars to stay in place with that stem, and I actually tightened them so hard that while I was riding, I landed kind of hard on the front, and a bolt shot out of the front of it. Um, so the stem is probably, honestly, the stem was the worst part on the entire bike. The stem was a complete piece of crap. Um, Once I got a new stem, the bars didn't slip anymore, even though I still hated the bars. You had to get them really tight to keep them from moving, um, which is the next thing, is the bars. The only bad thing about the bars is that most good bars will have like a cross-hatched knurling that's really grippy. Um, the bars from this bike just had those real cheap lines that run across it. Those really sucked, so they would slip if they weren't in a really good stem. I don't remember what stem I put on. I think I put a freeze on it, and it held them, so that was alright until I got new bars for it. Um, and the only other thing that I'll criticize on it was the grips. It just had the cheap Mongoose honeycomb grips on it. They don't last very long. They are really comfortable though, but they kind of twist around and move, and they might last you a month or two, and then they're junk. And the bar ends were cheap pieces of shit too, but that's, to be expected. Complete bikes come with really crappy bar ends anyway. Same thing with the seat. Like, it was a cheap seat. It was a combo seat, but I've seen more expensive bikes come with even shittier seats. Verde. um, so, yeah, that's pretty much the only bad things I had. So if you were to get this bike, throw a nice set of tires on it. If you're broke, throw a set of Kendas on it. Kenda contacts are like $12. They're way better than what came on it. Um, Throw a full length KMC chain. Those are like $8 if you buy a cheap one. Grips, ODIs are $10. That's not bad. You can get a Sunday Freeze or something for $15, or I think they're like 25, 30 actually. You might be able to find a discounted one online somewhere. I know my local bike shop has a couple stems he's selling for like $10, $15 for a stem, for good ones. Or you might be able to just find one that a friend of yours has. And that was, I mean, pretty much it. You do that and you got yourself a good bike. Oh, bottom bracket. These bikes are really nice if you put a sealed bottom bracket and get a new spindle. You get a 19 millimeter 8 spline spindle, American sealed bottom bracket. You'll be in at about $60, but it's going to make a world of difference on the bike. So, and of course, at that point, it complements the sealed headset pretty well and everything. Sealed bearings are definitely the way to go if you're looking to spend the money. For the bottom bracket, if you don't have the money to convert to a sealed setup, just get an Odyssey Dynatron. Those things are great. I've run those in the past in some of my old bikes back in the day, and they're pretty good. So, yeah, that's pretty much the only things that had problems with on the bike, which really isn't much considering there's, I mean, any entry-level bike like made by like Verde makes pretty cheap entry levels and fit. They're pretty much going to have the exact same problems I had with this bike. Um, so let's go over the things that I really liked about the bike. First thing, probably the best thing about it is that everything on it's full chromoly when you get it. The frame, the fork, the handlebars, and the crank arms, 100% chromoly, which I had my doubts about at first. So I went and I actually tried my hardest to bend the forks or bend the bars, and I could not get either one of them to bend. I was doing disasters and trying to bend and slamming down real hard to see if I could bend the forks. Any high tensile steel fork is going to bend if you do a disaster really hard on it. I did it over and over again. They never bent. Bars, I don't know how to really test those, but I landed really hard a few times and whatnot, and they never bent. So if they weren't full chromoly, they were still strong. So, and they were pretty light too for what they were. So chromoly is a lot lighter than high tensile steel. So pretty sure if they were as light as they were and as strong as they were, I could almost guarantee you they were chromoly. So, like I said, it says full chromoly online. I still kind of doubted it, but my doubts were relieved. So full chromoly on everything. which is really, really cool. Next thing that really impressed me was the wheel set that came on it. The wheels are both unsealed, but for the front wheel you get an aluminum front hub. The bearings are really good. This wheel's a year old and it's still going strong. I haven't even had to adjust the cones on it yet, which is something that on pretty much every Walmart bike you have to adjust those. Haven't had to do it here. I think it's a Quando hub, which is a brand you see all over the place. Um, in the front and the rims are double walled. They look like Winnemint knockoffs, so they're good rims. Um, haven't broken any spokes on this one. The back one I didn't keep together for very long, so I can't say much for that. And the rear hub is a 14 millimeter unsealed 9-tooth cassette. It's like the same kind of cassette you find on most entry level completes. It's a very good solid hub. It lasted quite a while. I think it didn't go bad when I got rid of it. Of course, I was parting the bike out, and I took the double wall rim that was on that hub at the time, put it on my bike because I needed a double wall for my bike, and I think I just ended up giving that hub to somebody. Um, so yeah, the wheel set definitely a strong point for the bike. Another thing was that the brakes, actually I didn't use them for very long, but the fact that they actually worked is pretty impressive. 90% of Walmart bike brakes don't even work, so that was pretty cool. Three-piece cranks are really cool. Didn't like the unsealed bottom bracket, but the crank arms themselves looked identical to like these missions right here, and they were chromoly, so that was pretty cool. Um, and I don't know what else there is here. Oh, the sealed headset was definitely a nice touch. I really wish they had put a sealed bottom bracket, or at least a mid unsealed, so that you could easily upgrade to a set of to a sealed bottom bracket setup. But not much you can do. But the sealed headset definitely was a nice touch. And I think it pretty much covers everything except for the geometry. So geometry wise, the bike is actually really nice. Right now this bike is pretty dialed. The frame, the back end's a tad bit long. It's like 13 and a half, 14. So the back end, that's pretty much standard length. Actually, it's not really that long. It's a bit longer than I like. My bike, my Fit has a 12.9 to 13.2 rear end on it, so I'm used to a way shorter chainstay length. But still really good geometry. Head tube is like a 75-degree, 20.5-inch top tube. Really, really well set up geometry. Pretty much you can do anything you want with the geometry setup it has. I don't know what the offset on the stock forks was, but and then weight wise, it's pretty much a standard weight. It's not light, it's not heavy. It just kind of sits in the middle. It depends on what parts you have on it. Stock, they're a little bit heavy. A lot of that's because of the tires that were on it, and the unsealed bottom bracket and stuff like that. But you spend a little bit of money, new tires, bottom bracket and stuff. You can pull a little bit of weight off, take the brakes off and stuff. If you run brakeless, chop the seat tube, all that crap. You can get them down to like 25 pounds pretty easily with a few small upgrades. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. Like I said, is the bike worth the $200? Absolutely, it is worth it. You can't find a bike under $300 that costs, or that comes with that good of a parts list on it. And this one, I think it was like $220 shipped because you had to pay for shipping on it. And the price kind of fluctuates on these for some reason. If you look at them one day on Walmart.com and check them the next day, the price like goes up and down. I don't know what it is that makes them do that. So, but usually they sit right around $200. This one, in case you're wondering, this one was originally the burgundy one. It was not the black one. I wanted the burgundy one, and then somebody painted it, and I was kind of upset about that. But oh well. But yeah, I really like the bike. Just a few small things. If you got another 50 to $100 you can throw at it, get a nice set of tires, bottom bracket, stems, some grips, you'll be good to go. You'll have a nice solid bike, and it'll last you a really long time. So anyway guys, hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.